Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fun episode of Career Chats with Aaron. I'm your host, Aaron Williams, and today I'm going to be interviewing with...
Hi, I'm Stefanie Knight, and I work for the Bureau of Rehabilitation Services.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Aaron.
Thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
So, tell us about BRS.
Okay, so the Bureau of Rehabilitation Services, many of you may know as BRS, we help individuals with disabilities look for jobs and find jobs. And sometimes it means that we have to help them find training first so that they can figure out their career path. Sometimes, we may even have to back it up a little farther and start with career inventories. We also do interviewing skills. We work with students that are in high school, and we help them explore jobs so they can figure out what they want to do once they graduate high school. But basically, everything we do is about helping individuals obtain independence and find a rewarding career.
That's really good. And how can they contact, or like you have a website or?
We do. There's a variety of different ways that you can contact us. We do have a website. Hang on, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. You can go to our website, disabilityworksct.org. On there, you can find a link that will tell you all of our offices so that you can contact the office closest to you. Or if you want, there's also a form that you can fill out and put your contact information in, and someone will contact you. Now, if computers and internet are not your thing, or you don't have easy access to that, you can also give our central office a call. That number is 860-424-5055. And then someone in our central office will get you connected with the office closest to your home.
Nice. All right. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, as always, we start off podcasts with a fun little icebreaker.
All right.
It could be a funny one. So, what would you describe yourself in weather? Are you a sunny day or cloudy, rain, snow?
I would say I'm probably a sunny day for the most part. I mean, every once in a while it may be partly cloudy,
Yep.
But I usually do try to be that bright, cheerful person, always looking for the silver lining, trying to keep things positive. But, we're all human, Aaron, so every once in a while those clouds come rolling in.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. That's true. Same with me. I would say I'm mostly the sunny guy. But,
yeah.
But yeah, it does. There are days where things can get a bit downsided a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
But as long as we rise up and stay positive, then
yes,
we'll be good with that. We'll be good in life.
Absolutely.
So, this is probably similar to the first question I've asked you, but
yeah.
How do you describe your job to someone at a party who has no idea what vocational rehabilitation is?
That's a really good question, because every time someone asks me what I do for a living and I tell them I'm a vocational rehabilitation counselor, they're always like, what is that? And it's a mouthful. But basically, I work with people with disabilities and I help them find jobs and I help them keep jobs. Sometimes that means, figuring out what work they would enjoy doing, what training programs they might be successful in. Sometimes it's about helping them figure out how to keep a job they currently have. Is there an accommodation that they need, or is there something that we could do to make work easier for them? We like to say it's working smarter, not harder. When it comes to keeping a job. And sometimes I work directly with employers too, and how do they have a supportive work environment? And not just for individuals with disabilities, but all their employees. How do they make that work environment a supportive work environment, a happy work environment, a safe work environment, so that everyone is just happy when they come to work and they're productive,
Yeah, good. Yeah, I've said this in other episodes before, but it's always nice when someone has fun with their work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not always true, but like if you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life. But well, that's not always true. But but it's always good that you have fun. You as long as you have fun with what you're doing. Well,
Agreed. And I would say I have fun at work all the time.
really?
Yes, a lot of times I'm sitting behind a desk, but I meet so many different people in the kind of work I do. And I just love talking with people. And by meeting people, I learn so much about other cultures, about other areas of the state, about different jobs that are available in the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
A lot of times voc rehab counselors, that's what we call ourselves. We're kind of a jack of all trades because in the process of helping other people find work and finding training programs, we also learn other things that are available and other jobs people can do. And sometimes we can walk into a work site and be like, wow, this is fun. It wasn't like the same day-to-day of sitting behind a desk. I got to learn how to make something on a machine today. So it's just, there's so much variety in the work that we do. It's quite amazing.
That's great. That's what I love to hear. And I say this to everyone when it comes in these podcasts. Write it down, people. Computer, notebook, jot some notes down. All right, this will help you.
Absolutely.
This is good.
I had a supervisor once that said, if you come to a meeting or a presentation and you don't have a notebook and a pen, you're already a step behind.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to need to write something down.
I got a notebook right over there. All set. So, yeah, it's always good. Because you don't know what's going to happen.
You never know.
And, you can't just put stuff in your mind.
Right.
Because, there's going to be a lot of information. So,
right.
Sometimes you're not going to memorize all the information. You need to write it down.
Absolutely. And sometimes people like to take notes on their phone, but sometimes that can be misconstrued as texting and you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
That's why going old school with the notebook and pen and paper is always my advice to everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Okay. So, is there a career myth you wish people would stop believing?
For sure. I mean, there are a lot of career myths out there, but the biggest myth I wish people would stop believing is that people with disabilities can't work or that it's too costly to hire someone with a disability. Both of those things are untrue. The truth is with the right supports, the right accommodation, the right job match, an individual with a disability can be successful, just like an individual without a disability.
Yes.
All those things need to be in place for anybody to be successful at work. Additionally, individuals with disabilities historically have become long-term valuable employees at the places that they are hired, which actually reduces the cost for an employer because they don't have vacancies with their staff. So there's constant production coming out and they don't have to take the time to train new employees.
Yeah.
Which again, keeps that production going at a steady pace. And additionally, if they were to make some accommodations or some modifications for an individual, most of those accommodations or modifications are either no cost or very low cost. The average cost is $500 or less.
Okay.
And honestly, I would say that is a very small percentage. Most accommodations are at zero cost to an employer.
Okay. All right. I like what you said, because about even people with disabilities, they can still, they have the ability to work and
absolutely
work hard. I agree. Here's a good one. Albert Einstein, he had a disability, but he became an incredibly smart person.
Yeah, so, I mean, he figured out E equals MC squared, and he founded electricity. But you're right, he did have a disability.
Exactly.
I think the difference is back then they didn't know what disabilities were.
Oh.
So there wasn't the stigma that there is now. And I think there's positive to knowing what disabilities are so that you can make accommodations and modifications. But at the same time, the downside is sometimes the focus is too much on the disability versus on the person's abilities. Every person has abilities to do things. Sometimes it just takes a little longer to find out what those abilities and strengths are.
Yeah, I agree. Good. Okay. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Remember that, people. Remember that. So, what's one small thing you think makes a difference in helping someone feel work ready?
Yeah. So a small thing that makes a big difference is letting them know that you believe in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And saying it out loud. Don't just assume that the person knows that you believe in them, that you're their cheerleader. You actually have to act like the cheerleader. And you need to, let them know, I see you. I see your strengths. I see your abilities. You have what it takes to do this. Just those small phrases can make a huge difference. As a counselor, I try really hard to focus on those positive things. And when we do have to talk about limitations or weaknesses, I kind of always do it as a sandwich, right? I talk about something positive. We talk about the weakness or the limitation and we discuss it. And then I always sandwich it again with something positive because I want them to know that even though we need to address something, I still believe in them and I still see their qualities.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because if that person doesn't believe in themselves, then it's not gonna bring them anywhere. So with the confidence with not only themselves but with other people, like encouraging them, that'll help them push forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's hard to see the positive things in yourself. And sometimes you need those pointed out too. And you know what? It feels good to hear someone else say it.
Yes, I agree. Positivity is strong.
Positivity is strong. Back to that first icebreaker question you asked me. It's about blowing those clouds out of the way so the sun can come out.
Yeah. That's a good metaphor right there. All right. This is an interesting one. So do you ever use psychology background to win arguments with your friends?
Aaron, you're asking me to give away all my secrets. But I'm going to answer. So I don't know necessarily that I use it to win arguments. But I definitely use it to try to see other people's perspectives and see how they view things. And I'm not going to lie. I then also use it to try to get them to change their mind and see it from my point of view. So, yeah, maybe I do use it to win arguments, but I don't necessarily tell myself that.
Like I said, I mean, it's a silly question, but like...
No, it's a good laugh. And, and it does make you think. I think a lot of times you're like, yeah, no. I'm like, yeah, no. I don't use it to win arguments. No. But I totally do, because I totally try to change people's minds to see it my way. Or like with my kids, I use the reverse psychology where, they don't want to do something. So I'm like, yeah, fine, don't do it. But then they're like, oh, wait, you don't want me to do it? No, I do want to do it.
There we go.
So, yeah.
There we go. That's smart.
Yeah. So, yeah. The reality is I do use it in my daily life. Just don't tell too many people.
Don't tell anyone, people. It's okay. All right. So what's your go-to pep talk line when someone's having a rough day about work?
Tell them everybody's human.
There you go.
Everybody has rough days. Everybody has good days. Everybody has bumps in the road. That's just what life is. And, when you hit those bumps in the road or you have the rough day, don't dwell on it. There's always tomorrow. you know?
Yeah.
I know that sounds cliche and it's a metaphor, but you can always change it the next day. Just because you have a bump one day or a rough day one day doesn't mean every day following it has to be the rough day. Let's look at what happened. Is there something that we can change to make your day better? Or is there something that someone else needs to change to make your day better? But you know, life is a learning experience. You are learning every day from the day you were born until the day you die. And you never know what it's going to throw at you, but there's always a good day after the rough day.
I agree. Yes. There was like this song I remember called Good Day. Like it's always has that very positive energy there. Despite no matter the negatives, there's always a piece of light that's just shining.
And you know what? I do have a playlist that I will listen to if I am having a bad day that always puts me in a better mood.
There you go.
It's
music.
Yeah, music. Music is always, you know,
that's
a
what
good thing.
That's what I do. Sometimes whenever I'm getting tired or getting a bit overwhelmed with college work, I would just listen to some music that I like to listen to.
Yeah.
It just calms me down. Or you know Finding Nemo, right?
Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
That's my favorite movie of all times. And I know all the characters. I know the entire script, everything. I have the soundtrack, the music from the film.
Mm-hmm.
So there were days where I would just listen to the music from the film because the music is just beautiful. So it's calming, relaxing, and peaceful. So I would just listen to it sometimes whenever I feel stressed out. Did you ever notice that the characters in Nemo have disabilities? Yes. Dory, Nemo with his lucky fin.
Yep.
Gil, he has a lucky fin too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Marlin too.
Yeah. Oh, he's overprotective or trauma.
Yeah.
That's why I love that film, because the film really not just addresses the disabilities, especially with Finding Dory. You seen that?
Yeah, scene? Finding Dory too.
They really went into that, especially with Hank the octopus.
Yeah, he's an amputee.
Yeah, he lost his tentacle.
Yep.
You have Destiny, who is having a hard time seeing things.
Yep.
And then you have Bailey the beluga whale, who is struggling with echolocation.
Right, so it's like he has like he's hard of hearing or has a hearing loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but Nemo, one of the things I love about that film is that it has a balanced audience. It's not because kids can love Finding Nemo because of talking fish and they can relate with Nemo. Then you have adults, especially parents, that can relate with Marlin.
Absolutely.
And there's also a wonderful moral in the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched that film a lot of there has not been a time I've watched the film and gotten bored. Like I would just rewatch the film over and over again and just still enjoy it. Those are two of my favorite films, Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. Oh yeah. The sequel's really good. I remember when they announced it back in I think it was 2011 or 2012. I was so hyped because I was a hardcore fan, so I was like, "Oh, Finding Dory, let's go!" Yes. And then the trailers came out. Then 2016, I saw the film day one, like the day it came out in the theater, and it was wonderful. So I think they need to have a third movie, Finding Mr. Ray, because doesn't he go off and go on like a sabbatical or something? Yeah, I think there are. From what I remember, Pixar and the director of Nemo and Dory is saying there's an idea for a potential third film. That'd be awesome. The Tank Gang. Right. Because if you remember in the after credits, they got captured by the Marine Life Institute. That's right. So who knows? Maybe there could be a film about them. Maybe. But it's funny. In college, when I was working on my master's for my psychology degree, one of the project was you had to watch a film and you had to write about the disability in the film. And I wrote mine on Finding Dory. There you go. Yeah. So yeah. So trust me, I have CDs of the soundtrack from the film. Some people ask me, you carry CDs? Yeah, I carry CDs. I don't care. I'm taking those.
Yeah. I was quite bummed. My new car, you can't get CD players in a car anymore.
Yeah.
So I've slowly been putting everything on my iPhone.
Yeah. So yeah, same with me. I have a whole folder of all the music, the music from the film.
That's awesome.
So I can just go into my computer and just listen to it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, this is. Now I want to rewatch that film. Like,
I know. I think I'm gonna have to go home and watch it tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. So what's your ideal day off look like? No emails, no Zoom calls or anything. Just a day. A
day off. So it's funny. We were just talking about Finding Nemo, right?
Yeah.
And that's a Disney film. Mm-hmm. And everybody who knows me probably isn't going to be surprised by this answer, but my ideal day is actually in Disney. It's not necessarily at a park.
Yeah.
I like staying at a hotel called the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah.
And the rooms overlook a savanna. So there's all these different African safari animals, giraffes, zebras, etc. And I could just sit out on the balcony all day with a cup of coffee, lunch, whatever, and just watch the animals as they walk by, as they interact with each other. My favorite is just watching the giraffes. Like, they are so elegant as they walk the savannah. So, my ideal day is just sitting and watching the animals on the balcony.
That's the beauty of Disney right there.
Yeah.
It's funny you're talking about Disney because a few weeks ago during my spring break, I went to the Hartford Science Center, mm-hmm. and because they had this event that Pixar Studios actually collaborated with.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's called Science Behind Pixar. You ever heard of that before?
No.
So yeah, Pixar, the actual studio, they actually go to different like science centers or museums, and mm-hmm. they create special exhibits for both kids and adults to learn about what Pixar does and how they make the films, how they script write, how they animate and all that. And they have these fun activities. And I took a lot of videos and pictures of it. They have actual clay models from the studio. Like, how they make clay models of like characters from the film?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I went there, they actually had some of the actual clay models of characters. Like, they got Nemo. Like, these are real. They're not replicas. Nemo, Mike Wazowski.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, I feel like a little kid again because I never thought I would see this in person.
That is amazing.
And they have like fun little activities where they actually have like animation of what's it called. They use some of the animation for activities to mm-hmm. kids. Like, they put a little geometry with how they do the Pixar ball.
Oh, yeah. And how it shows up in every movie.
Yep. There's or how they move like the arms or the eyes from the characters.
Yeah.
I gotta.
I'll have to see if it's still going on. So
it's not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, that's too bad, because my daughter is going to college in the fall and she's studying animation. And one of her dream places to work is Pixar Studios.
That's that's a great place to.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, when your daughter becomes an animator.
Yeah.
If there's a project that I can voice a character in, let me know.
We will stay in touch, Aaron, for sure. It's going to be several years, but hey, we'll stay in touch.
It's better than nothing.
That's right. That's right.
I've always wanted to go to Animal Kingdom. Like, that's an idea to go. All right. Here's another funny question.
Yeah.
If your career had a theme song, what would it be? Like, what style? Like, what kind of music style would it be? Would it be more of a calming theme song, or would it be more of a happy, jumpy?
So I think it'd be more an inspirational theme song, because I feel in my line of work we inspire people. to find what they're going to be great at, what they're going to enjoy doing, to go out and put themselves on a limb and work. So, honestly, I think, speaking of Disney again, remember Miley Cyrus's Hannah Montana TV show? One of the songs her character sings is, what's it called? The Climb.
Yeah.
And, that song is all about overcoming obstacles and not necessarily focusing on your end goal, but focusing on the journey that you're going to take to get to that end goal. And how there's always bumps in the road, but how you can, get over those bumps and eventually get to where you want to be. So, that's kind of what we do at BRS as vocational rehabilitation counselors. We're there to work with individuals to build their self-confidence, to get them to see what their strengths are. And when they do hit those bumps in the road, to be that cheerleader, to be like, hey, it's okay. You've overcome other obstacles before. You can overcome those obstacles again. She says in the song, it's about the journey. It's about the climb. And that's really what it is when it's about finding your career. That first job that you have, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be the job you have for the rest of your life. It's a stopping point as you're climbing the mountain to get to your long-term career goal. And I feel like that's what we're here to do at BRS is helping you climb that mountain to get to that, your dream job.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I can imagine that as a theme song for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And last but not least, what advice would you give to the audience about work and like either work or how to overcome any obstacles or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk all day. But I think my big advice is, again, that first job doesn't have to be your end all be all job. My first job wasn't a voc rehab counselor. I worked in a daycare and I worked with kids, and I worked in a store and I was a cashier, and I did food service for a little while. That was about gaining experience. That was about learning what it was like to work and learning those work values. Was it related to my career goal of being a counselor? No, but it allowed me to build a work ethic. It allowed me to see what it was like to work with other people.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to start small as you're slowly figuring out what that career goal is. It's also okay to change your mind. I think that's my other big piece of advice. I went to college thinking I was going to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. I'm not a doctor, and that's okay. I found that chemistry and I did not get along, and so I had to figure out something else. And I really started thinking about, well, what was it about a doctor that resonated with me? Why did I want to be that? And what I figured out was I wanted to help people. And so I met with a career counselor at the college, and I was like, well, what can I do? If I can't be a doctor, what else can I do? And they were like, why don't you go take this psychology class? Counseling and psychology, that's all about helping people. And within the first couple of days, I fell in love, and the rest was history. That's how I became a counselor. But if I didn't change my mind and I continued on that one career path, you and I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And I don't know that I would have been happy. So I just want people to know that it's okay to change your mind. And it's okay if that first goal you have, you realize it's not the right goal for you. That, again, is about being human. Things change. Life is all about change, and it's okay to change your mind.
Yeah. Let me give you an example. I wanted to be a chef first, just like my father. And I do love cooking, but with me, there are some foods I do not like. So
yeah.
So it's like, So I'm probably not my thing. But then it was in 2020. Because fun fact, I've been doing so many character voices since 2011 when I was in first grade. I've been doing voices a lot.
That's amazing.
But I never thought of that as like a job thing.
Yeah.
I just did it for fun. And then it was in 2020 I started my YouTube channel, and I took some inspiration from two of my favorite voice actors, Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No.
They're wonderful, wonderful voice actors. Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus Prime from Transformers.
Okay.
Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Eeyore's my favorite Winnie the Pooh character.
Thanks for noticing. Not that anybody cares.
That was good.
Yeah. And then Frank Welker, he there's a lot of characters. You got Megatron, you got Garfield, Scooby-Doo, and he also does a lot of animal noises, especially in Disney stuff. Like he does like most of the animal sounds. Like,
oh, that's cool.
If you hear a tiger, that's him.
Probably him.
Yep. So yeah, those two, they inspired me to do voice acting because of how much fun they have, and just especially with how much they have a lot of vocal range. So
yeah,
that just got me into it. And same thing with live acting. I took inspiration from Tony Todd.
No, what was he in?
He Candyman.
Yeah,
that's him. His presence, but his passion as well. That's one thing I love about the three of these actors is their passion of what they do. Seeing them have so much fun and putting a lot of care in what they do, they never get tired of it. So
yeah, it's good to have a passion.
Exactly.
So good to have a passion.
When I heard that Tony Todd passed away in November, it was in November 2024, and I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah, it's hard when your heroes or your idols pass away.
Yeah, but there's one more film he's going to be in.
Okay.
Date, so I'll be watching that film.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I have one more tip of advice. Can I give that too?
Yeah, go right ahead.
My other tip is ask for help.
Yes.
Asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually a strength, because when you ask for help, it just allows you to do whatever you're doing that much better. And sometimes it's fun to actually get help and do it with another person.
I agree. That's really good advice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, that concludes another fun episode of Career Chats with Aaron. Stefanie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun today.
That's good. That's good. We're here to give lessons, have fun, and hopefully you guys who have watched or listened to this podcast have learned something out of this. So yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and hold on to your dreams.